Damn things are going up my nose. Sorry about the shaking, but I'm itching. There it is, look at that. That's a big old boat. Way, way behind Bayport. See if we can see the North Rack. Sun's kind of behind a bunch of clouds right now. Might be able to see it, or it might be whited out. Oh, there it is right there. There's the North Rack. How tiny the North Rack is. Oh, no, there's the North Rack. Here's the North Rack. Look at that. And I don't know what that other thing is right there. That could very well be another rack way back even further. Or it's a sign. Could be a sign behind the North Rack. And that sign's a lot closer. Look how big it is compared to the boat. I wonder if I can find that small boat out there again. Wow. I wish I could just stay right there on that. I'll come back to it though, being that I know right where it's at. Yes, I think I do. I'm gonna start shooting at the sun here, putting out some crepuscular rays, but let me see if I can find that one boat. None of these beacon lights were lit up. It wasn't quite dark enough, but I put the flashing light on there, so when I do get them at night, people will be able to tell the difference. But let me tell you, some of these, unless you have a very, very clear night, you will not really be able to tell how many times these things flash. The closer ones you will, but the farther ones out, you will not. And sometimes there's literally birds sitting on the lights, so it does block out some of the light. Like the North Rack, it was beaming real bright this evening, but then the Bayport Rack, which is closer, wasn't blinking very bright at all. But like I said, a lot of times there's birds that sit up on these racks and they will hog up all the area up there, including sitting on the light itself. There he is. Look at that. You want to tell me that's refraction? Wow. Okay, I'm gonna go over here to the sun. I'm gonna catch the sun. that sign out there. Way down. Okay, you're going to have to watch closely here because as I move toward the south, I start zooming back, but you can actually see where this rack is at. And what I'm going to do is take a screenshot as I zoom back and show you the rest of these racks. As you can see, the color change in the horizon right here. Okay, as I zoom back, you can see that there was Cutter's Rock that I showed a little bit earlier. And then, of course, over here's the one I always thought was Cutter's Rock. That's actually Billy Steele's. And then as I zoom out further and move my camera over, there's Bill Watts. And to the right is the Hernando Beach marker. And there is the coordinates to it too. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to speed this video up because I like this footage. I thought it was some wild stuff. So right here I'm going to speed it up to 2 times the speed. And you can see that the sun is behind all these clouds. But look at that light diffraction, or that light reflecting off of the water. Light does bend, and it's bending up. It's not bending down. It's not bending over the curve. It's not pulling shit up. This is a very, very clear day. Although the horizon is dark, like I said, sometimes the light will darken things up, and sometimes the light will brighten things up. And that's one of the things that I always say too after the sun supposedly sets, is I can sit there for an hour and see that, hey, everything in front of me is still lit up. What is lighting up everything around me? If the sun, if my source of light has gone over a curve, it hasn't. It's just gone out of my line of sight. It's gone to that convergence point. It's gone beyond my visibility. But it's still producing the light, and it's still casting its light across the plane. All right. And as I watch this boat, these are the Hernando channel markers, which a lot of times are cut off or at the point where they're just mirroring themselves because of the mirroring effect. But this day without the mirroring, not only can you see those channel markers sitting in the water, but you can obviously see this boat sitting in the water. You can see the wake that it's producing sitting in the water. So I don't know how much better that I can get than this. Bill Watts is approximately 3.5 miles from me, from my location. And I got a little bit of footage to show where I was actually located. My camera height is approximately 5.5 feet. With the remote I have on the top of it, it makes it about 5.5 feet. And then I'll show also about where that water was. So between the 5.5 feet, and I'm going to give it a foot up off the water, my camera height is approximately 6.5 feet. So how am I seeing over 11 miles out to Cutter's Rock, Billy Steele's, Bill Watts, and the Hernando Beach rack? Now that Hernando Beach rack is further to the south than the Bill Watts tripod. So it is actually further away. And I'm no good on Skype to mark these things because the coordinates that I get don't match the coordinates that are on not Skype, but Google Earth. And as you can see here, how that water just extends out. And once things get into that lifted up water, but you can see how that light is actually reflecting up off the water, causing a ramp right there to the right of Bill Watt's tripod. And then you look to the left where the boat is, you can actually see that water is leveling out and going flat because it's not getting that lift up or that mirroring effect off of that water. Now watch when I zoom in, you can see that that is water out in front without as much light reflection or light diffraction. And you can see that he's obviously cutting right through the water. Alright, this is a little new spot where I'm filming from. There's a Bayport fishing pier. I'm going to keep an eye on my camera because I'm tracking that boat right there. I'm going to keep them in my frame. And I'm not very far off the water. It might look like I am. Right here in these weeds. Right here. There's the water right here in these weeds. So I'm not far. I'm not far off the weeds at all. Get back on my boat here. I want to zoom back in on it. Alright, I just wanted to make this short little video of this, just so you could see that that water is not very far into them weeds. Okay, and here's the view from here. I might put my phone up just like this, on a stick.